The narrator boy and B. Wordsworth become fast friends. The narrator starts visiting Wordsworth's home very often. And one day the boy inquires him, why is it that he lets the bushes abound in his house? The poet then tells him a little story which completely overwhelms the kid. He said, listen, I will tell you a story. Once upon a time, a boy and a girl met each other and they fell in love. They loved each other so much they got married. They were both poets. He loved words. She loved grass and flowers and trees. They lived happily in a single room. And then one day the girl poet said to the boy poet, we are going to have another poet in the family. But this poet was never born because the girl died and the young poet died with her, inside her. And the girl's husband was very sad and he said he would never touch a thing in the girl's garden. And so the garden remained and grew high and wild. The boy looked at B. Wordsworth, and as he told him this lovely story, he seemed to grow older, and the boy understood his story. The two have a great time together. They visit the rock garden, the botanical gardens, climb the Chancellor's Hill late in the afternoon, and watch the darkness fall on the port of Spain. Wordsworth seems to have a positive attitude towards life and fills the boy with wonder and awe. This is what the narrator has to say about the Wordsworth's outlook towards life. He did everything as though he were doing it for the first time in his life. The world became a most exciting place. Wordsworth then tells the boy an important secret that he is writing the greatest poem in the world by writing one line a month, and that the line of the month is, the past is deep. Mr. B tells the boy that he hopes to distill the experiences of a whole month into a single line of poetry, and that in 22 years he will have written a poem that will sing to all humanity. One day, while walking along the dockside, the boy asks the poet whether the pin he has will sink or float in water. He asks the boy to give it a try. The pin sinks. We later come to know that B. Wordsworth supports his living by singing calypsos and that he is a part poet, part performer. When the narrator visits his house the next time, he finds B. Wordsworth lying on his bed and he says that the poem isn't going well. He is in a terrible state. The boy is overwhelmed with sadness when he understands B. Wordsworth is going to die soon. He tells the kid that he will narrate him a funny story and makes him promise to never come back after he has heard the story. The boy agrees. He said, good. Well, listen. That story that I have told you about the boy poet and the girl poet, do you remember that? That wasn't true. It was something I just made up. All this talk about poetry and the greatest poem in the world, that wasn't true either. Isn't that the funniest thing you have heard? However, his voice breaks and the narrator runs home crying. After about a year, the boy walks down Alberto Street, but Wordsworth's house is nowhere to be seen. It is replaced by huge concrete buildings. The mango tree, the coconut, and the plum tree have all cut down, and it seems as if B. Wordsworth had never existed.